What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the latest Liverpool transfer news video. And the Bild, the German newspaper, is reporting that Dortmund completely changed their stance on Jadon Sancho. In the summer, they didn't want to sell Sancho, they wanted to keep him. They slapped a 140 million euro price tag on Jadon Sancho. But recently, Sancho has fallen out with Dortmund manager, and the Dortmund sporting director also spoke out about Jadon Sancho recently. And what actually happened is that Sancho missed the deadline for getting back after an international break, so he was banned from attending the Borussia Mönchengladbach match. I mean, he wasn't even in the squad, and then he was substituted before halftime in the Bayern Munich Dortmund game, which Dortmund lost 4-0, and they basically made him a scapegoat for that defeat, even though it wasn't really only Sancho's fault. The whole team played badly, and the Bild is claiming that because of these issues and because of Sancho wanting to sign for a Premier League club, they want to get rid of him, and I think they will be asking for around 100 million euros, which would be about 85-90 million pounds. And the Bild is claiming that Jurgen Klopp has, of course, the best contacts when it comes to Borussia Dortmund and their transfer negotiations. Jurgen Klopp still has a lot of friends at Dortmund, and Sancho really wants to join the Premier League, and I think that Liverpool need him, Liverpool want him. According to the Bild newspaper, Liverpool are front of the queue, and also according to some other English newspapers, Liverpool have dropped their interest in Kylian Mbappe to focus on sealing the signing of Jadon Sancho. Those are reports coming from England and Spain. So Mbappe has also been increasingly linked with Liverpool, but Jurgen Klopp of course admitted he would love to sign Mbappe, but right now it's financially impossible. He conceded because Paris Saint-Germain would probably want around 200 million pounds from Mbappe, and Liverpool just can't spend that amount of money on top of Mbappe's incredibly high wages. And Liverpool are set to make a formal offer, a formal approach for Jadon Sancho as early as the January transfer window. So Sancho is just fed up at Dortmund. He had enough, he wants to leave, and he wants to leave as early as possible. According to the newspapers, Jadon Sancho already decided that he will leave Dortmund at least at the end of the season, but maybe even in the January transfer window. There is a growing discord and friction between Dortmund and Sancho, and basically Sancho was humiliated when he was substituted after 36 minutes, not because of an injury, but because of tactical reasons, and because the manager Lucien Favre, the Dortmund manager, said that Sancho was very bad, and I quote, that's what the manager said, that Sancho was very bad against Bayern, so that's why he subbed him off. And I think that is probably, it hurt Jadon Sancho's ego a lot, and also he probably thinks that he's done at Dortmund. He doesn't really want to play for them anymore. And Sancho, even though he's still a very, very young player, he already has 31 assists in 71 appearances for Borussia Dortmund, and also 18 goals. So if you add those up, it comes out as 49 goal contributions. That's almost 50 goal contribution in 71 games. For a team like Dortmund, that's a terrific return. Remember that Dortmund are not the powerhouse that Bayern Munich are. So Jadon Sancho he's putting up incredibly high numbers as a 19-year-old teenager, and he also played well for England when they beat Montenegro. And what gives me even more optimism that this deal will happen is that Jurgen Klopp is a big fan of Jadon Sancho as well, not just Mbappe. Jurgen Klopp actually wanted to sign Jadon Sancho when he was still a Manchester City player. He came through the Watford and the Manchester City youth ranks, and Jurgen Klopp talked to Jadon Sancho and talked to Manchester City, but Man City didn't really want to sell him to a rival Premier League team. So that's why he went to Borussia Dortmund. He wanted to play first in football. And I think it actually worked out pretty well, because I don't think Sancho would have played as much football alongside, or behind rather, Mane and Salah on the wings of Liverpool. And at Dortmund, I think it was vital that he got first team proper men's football experience. 71 games for Dortmund is a really good football education, if you like. And Jurgen Klopp is a big fan of Jadon Sancho. He wanted to sign him. He admitted that in an interview, but because Man City didn't sell to another English club, they couldn't get him in. But I think this is the chance for Liverpool. We have an incredible amount of money sitting in the bank, just waiting and waiting for Jurgen Klopp to identify that one superstar that I think we will go for in 2020, either in the January transfer window or in the summer. And I think if Jurgen Klopp has a chance to reinforce the squad, and Mane's hot run-off form is brilliant, but Salah is struggling with a niggling ankle injury. He's a doubt for the Crystal Palace game. And I think that will wake Jurgen Klopp up even more, that if Salah will be out for a long time, like 2-3 months, that could really derail Liverpool's title challenge. But imagine if just 1.5 months from now, Jadon Sancho walks through the door at Anfield and signs for Liverpool. That would be such a boost, such a reinforcement into the title race. It could honestly probably decide the title race in Liverpool's favour, because even if Mane or Salah or Firmino needs a rest, Jadon Sancho could come in and provide goals and assists. And Jurgen Klopp knows him pretty well, having been scouted by Liverpool and by Jurgen Klopp previously. And also, I think that Jurgen Klopp watches Borussia Dortmund games and the Bundesliga games, so he perfectly knows what Jadon Sancho is capable of, how he could fit into this Liverpool team. So I'm actually very excited about this, and I really hope that we get Jadon Sancho, who already won a German Cup with Borussia Dortmund in 2019, and also he won the Under-17 World Cup with England, and he came second in the Under-17 European Championships. So he already has a few trophies under his belt, but I think if he joins Liverpool, he will win a lot of trophies. And he really wants to sign for the Premier League Cup. He wants to come back to the Premier League to show everybody in England what he can do. And of course, his whole family is still living in England. I think only his father moved to Dortmund to stay with him. As a 19-year-old, that must be tough, to be away from your family, your friends, everything that you know and you are accustomed to. So I think Jadon Sancho just wanted to kickstart his career. He has already done that at Borussia Dortmund. Now it's time for the next chapter, the next challenge, and that is the Premier League. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Jadon Sancho in the Premier League, hopefully in a Liverpool shirt. That would be awesome. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Do you want Liverpool to sign Jadon Sancho? And it looks like Coutinho's time could be over at Bayern Munich. He was a scapegoat not just at Barcelona, but now he became a scapegoat at Bayern Munich as well. Because after Bayern lost very heavily 5-1 to Frankfurt and Niko Kovac was sacked, the new manager, who is Hans-Dieter Flick, he's an interim manager until the winter break kicks in Germany. He only played Coutinho 20 minutes in 2 games, and Bayern won 2-0 and 4-0 against Olympiacos and Borussia Dortmund respectively. And it looks like there is no place for Coutinho anymore in the Bayern Munich team. And Don Balón, a newspaper, are even claiming that Bayern have already told Barcelona that they will not buy Coutinho at the end of his loan spell, and he will go back to Barcelona. And I think Coutinho must be absolutely dreading the day he decided to leave Liverpool and sign for Barcelona, because his football career has been an absolute nightmare. It has been going downhill. On the other hand, Liverpool are on the upward trajectory, and I think Liverpool are so good because we sold Coutinho. At the time, I wasn't sure where we are going with this, but the incredible amount of money that Liverpool got from the Coutinho deal, we could sign Alisson, Van Dijk and Naby Keita with that amount of money, and Liverpool became such a strong team, a much better team with Alisson and Van Dijk in the team. And I think that Coutinho really lost his way, and I think I actually feel a little bit sorry for him at this point. But I think that because Coutinho doesn't have one goal or one assist in 6 consecutive Bayern Munich matches, it's no wonder that he lost his place in the starting 11, because at the moment Bayern are playing with Gnabry and Kingsley Coman on the wings, Müller in the number 10, Thomas Müller in the number 10 role, and Leon Goretzka as a more physical, robust midfielder in the Bayern Munich midfield. So there is no place for Coutinho at the moment, and I think if you can't get a goal or an assist in 6 games in such a brilliant Bayern Munich team, then something is seriously wrong. It looks like that Coutinho just can't find his place either at Barcelona or at Bayern Munich, and I think it's down to the fact that for so long, like how many, 5-6 seasons, everything was built around him. At Liverpool, everything was fine-tuned to the smallest little detail, so Coutinho could perform at the highest level. He was Liverpool's big superstar player, and I think at other clubs, at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, he's just one of many superstars. At Liverpool, he was the man, the superstar at the time. I think he was our biggest player at the time. Remember, we didn't have the likes of Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah, players like that when Coutinho was at Liverpool. And I think that is one of the main reasons why Coutinho doesn't really click into this Bayern Munich or Barcelona team. He's just a cog, a small cog in the machine. The team is not built around him, but still, that's not an excuse. Coutinho should be doing much better in these really loaded superstar teams. I mean, at Bayern and at Barcelona, there are players with worse skill sets than Coutinho who are doing much better. But yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And Liverpool acquired Vitor Matos, assistant manager from FC Porto, and he is bridging the gap between the academy and the first team. And he told LiverpoolFC.com about this in an interview. After the phone rang and Liverpool called me, it started already bubbling inside of me. This is Liverpool, and you can never say no to Liverpool. When you come to the club, when you enter into the club for the first time you go to training, the first time you go to the dressing room, it's a feeling that you will never forget. Love is something that you cannot explain, but it is something that you feel. For me, Liverpool is the same thing. More than everything, you feel the club. You feel that it is a club with a massive history, a club with a strong personality, with a big culture, and I love these kinds of clubs. The connection that we have in the club and with the fans, it's unbelievable. And I think that's a brilliant interview and shows what a special club Liverpool are, and it is held in such high regard even in Portugal, for example. So I am just really wishing Matos all the success with the Liverpool Academy players, and I hope that he can help bring through more big talented youngsters at Liverpool. And Xabi Alonso, who is a Liverpool legend in my eyes, actually commented on what makes Fabinho such a special player for Liverpool. He gave a really good interview, and this is what Xabi Alonso said. Fabinho is connected to the game, always. His anticipation is his greatest asset, his greatest skill. Sometimes you only have to take 1 or 2 steps to change the movements of your teammates, and that can determine the outcome, the whole outcome of the game, without anyone really realizing, because spectators tend to follow the ball rather than the player. He's not reacting 1 second later, he's anticipating what is going to happen 1 second before. That's brilliant. And what I don't understand is Fabinho is criminally overlooked by his country, Brazil, where Real Madrid's Casemiro often plays ahead of him. But at least that keeps him fresh for Liverpool. But when it comes to a big tournament, I really think Fabinho is miles away a much better player than Casemiro right now. Maybe in the past Casemiro was a better player, but right now Fabinho is in form and he's much better, so he should be starting for Brazil, in my opinion. And Everton must be kicking themselves because previously they had a chance to sign Andrew Robertson, and they must be absolutely livid with the decision not to take that on, because former Everton director of football Steve Walsh has explained how Everton rejected both Andy Robertson and Harry Maguire, despite Steve Walsh, advising Everton to sign both players. So imagine how different football would be if Everton would have signed Andy Robertson and Harry Maguire. This is what he said in an interview. While I was at Everton, I offered them Andrew Robertson and Harry Maguire in 2 deals when they were at Hull City, and it was worth £20 million for the both of them. But Everton wouldn't take them. It raised a few eyebrows when we signed Andrew Robertson from relegated Hull City. I was like, why are we signing a left back from a relegated team? But of course, Jurgen Klopp and the scouts know and knew Andrew Robertson much better than many Liverpool fans, including myself. And I think that was just one of the best decisions that Liverpool have made. I mean, Robertson cost what, like 7-8 million pounds, something like that, and he turns into this 50-60 million pound left back, probably the best left back in the world right now. He's absolutely incredible, and Liverpool made one of the biggest bargains with Andrew Robertson. I mean, if you continue to think about this, Trent Alexander-Arnold cost nothing for Liverpool in terms of transfer fee. He's a youth academy player, and Andrew Robertson cost what, like 6-7 million pounds. It's just incredible that we have 2 of the best fullbacks in the world, and we paid a combined £7 million for them. Absolute mind-blowing business for Liverpool. That's just crazy. And there has been a very bad incident, a racist incident in the Netherlands, which really disgusted Wijnaldum. What happened is that in a second division game between Den Bosch and Excelsior, an Excelsior player was racially abused. His name is Ahmad Mendes Moreira, and he walked off the pitch 30 minutes in after being subjected to abuse, but then the referee resumed the game later, and the player scored, and then he copped his ear and basically taunted the supporters who racially abused him. And I completely understand that it must have been such an emotional thing, but actually Dan Bosch's manager Eric van der Ven branded Moreira a pathetic little man for trying to goad his side's supporters. What is wrong with that guy? And actually Wijnaldum, after seeing this match, which was marred by these racist abuse and Nazi salutes, and it was just really ugly, Wijnaldum told reporters, "It really hit me on a personal level. I never expected anything like this to happen in the Netherlands, in my home country. I'm really shocked. It did happen, unfortunately, and the way people have talked about the incident really hurt me. It's a problem in society. As a player, you can't really change anything about it, but I think that players should try and support each other. It's a problem that should be solved by our politicians. I hope that there will be severe punishments. This really can't happen again. It's just not the racism to the player from Excelsior, but I also saw someone doing the Nazi salute in the stands. When I saw that, I thought, what is wrong with you if you do something like that? Our ancestors fought for us so we can live freely. If people still perform the Nazi salute, that's utterly disrespectful. That just can't happen. We can't allow that in the Netherlands or anywhere else in the world. Just let me add that. That's what I think. There have to be severe punishments. I think the key, and the VB, the Dutch Football Association, did well with their statement, saying that they will look into the matter and see what happened. But I think it's really despicable what Dan Bosch did. I might not be allowed to say things like that, but I don't care anymore. I think we need to see very big fines. I heard that they want to install cameras to find out who the culprits are. The punishments need to be so severe that nobody even thinks of doing something like this ever again. We want to play football to enjoy ourselves. We want to entertain our supporters. We don't want to see things like this happening. I fully agree with Wijnaldum. It's just really sad to see that now in the 21st century, it's still in the society, these kind of things, even in the Netherlands and in other countries as well. And I think almost every country has a problem like this, but it's just bubbling below the surface, and sometimes it comes to light, and that it really needs a lot of education. The politicians and the powers that are at the top really should bring very, very severe punishments. I fully agree with Wijnaldum, because until that happens, until the club is like banned for something like this, then it will just continue. So let me know what you think about all the topics that we discussed in the comments below, and thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.